Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking specifically to young adults on the autism spectrum who are in college. So if that's you, we want to give you some tips about advocating for yourself. So that can be things like talking about needing testing accommodations, could be needing help with a specific class, and this is a skill that a lot of people don't always just grow up knowing how to do themselves. So we're going to give you some tips today about how to do it, what self-advocacy is, and what it looks like specifically in the university setting. We are Autism Services for Teens and Young Adults. We are occupational therapists who are licensed in our state of practice, and we're trained in ways to help you become independent in your adulthood. So if you had OT when you were younger, you might have worked on fine motor skills or sensory processing and coloring, handwriting, things like that. But as you get older, we can still help you and we can do different things. So what OT does when you get older is kind of help you learn to become more independent as an adult, and especially thinking about the executive functioning part of being an adult, like planning ahead, organizing, time management, things that are the hardest parts of college, really, for anyone. So what we do is we just coach you in thinking about new ways of doing things or helping you find easier methods of being an adult, going to college, and doing the things you need and want to do. So let's start this off by talking about self-advocacy. This is a skill that it's not often just taught outright, but it's really important for you to learn, especially as someone with an autism diagnosis, so that you can get the services you need and get the help that you might need to succeed, because we think that everyone is capable of succeeding. You might just need a couple different adaptations in order to do that. So executive functioning is part of self-advocacy. So in order to advocate for yourself, you need organization, planning. You need something called metacognition, which is thinking about thinking, time management, and emotional regulation, which is just about how you can calm yourself down when you're stressed, basically. Okay, so we need to work on all of those things in order to be able to self-advocate. Because in high school, in elementary and high school, probably, if you had an IEP, because of your autism diagnosis, you probably just had services automatically given to you. You might have been pulled out of class to go do stuff and have more one-on-one help, and you had people kind of looking out for you and making sure that you were staying on track with your classes. However, when you get to college, when you turn 18, the laws change. So the schools in college and university are still required to provide services or adaptations to you if you have a disability, but you have to ask for them. They're not going to come to you and say, hey, we saw you have a disability. Do you want services? Because they want people to come to them and ask for it. They don't want to just assume that everyone wants them. So you have to ask yourself if you need extra things to have success in your classes, which is just like being an adult. Any adult is going to have to learn how to advocate for themselves and ask for what they need in order to succeed in what they're doing. First of all, with all of that, we need to brainstorm about who can help us and how you need help. It's really hard for someone to help you if you're kind of just stuck and you don't even know what to ask for, which sometimes is the case, and that's okay. But at least try at the beginning and start thinking about what would be helpful, what do I actually need? And it is kind of intimidating at first, but it can come with practice. You can get better at asking for help. And it's okay to ask for help. No one finishes a college degree alone with no help. Pretty much no one, I would say. And this is just going to be really helpful for you down the line because, college is hard, but having a job is also hard. So, you always are going to need help from other people, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing, and it's just good to get better at asking for help. So, if you are in college, let's say you're planning your schedule. Planning schedules are really hard. Signing up for classes can be confusing, or figuring out which classes you need to graduate on time. Or even just managing the workload can be hard. Assignments and tests can be kind of getting you stuck. And those are all valid things to need help with. So what you can do is just write down a list of people. Let's start with the people that we need to ask for help. We can have an advisor. You should have an advisor. Every student at a university should have an advisor, and they are there to kind of do the admin for you and make sure that you are going to graduate with the classes you're taking, because otherwise you're just taking random classes and that might not lead to anything. So you can talk to your advisor. You can talk to the professor of the specific class that you're taking, or you can talk to the disability services office. If you go to someone and they are not helpful, you should go to the next person on your list. Someone should help you. If nobody is helping you, that's not okay. Somebody needs to help if you need it, and you should keep reaching out to people until you find someone who will help you. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is figure out who can help me. That list and what their email is or phone number or whatever. Set up a meeting with whoever you need to talk to. Then second thing is, how do I need help? What exactly do I need that is going to be helpful? Do I need more time to finish my assignments? Do I need more specific grading criteria? Do I need a tutor? A lot of the universities have tutoring services. I went to tutoring when I was in college, and it really helped me. But you do have to go seek those things out yourself. Does your professor have office hours or group study classes? What would be helpful for you, and what do you need to ask for? Write down everything that you're having a hard time with, and you can bring that in when you meet with someone. It'll help you be less nervous, because it would be worse if you didn't write everything down. Then you get to the meeting and then they say, what do you need help with? And you only say one thing, and you actually had 5 things you wanted to talk about, and then you leave the meeting and think, oh my gosh, I should have talked about this and this and this, and now I have to make another meeting. And save yourself that stress. Just write everything down so you can bring up every single thing in your meeting. Another thing is that you don't have to tell anybody that you have an autism diagnosis. It's perfectly fine to just say, I am struggling with X, Y, and Z, and I need help. I want to pass this class or whatever. I want to graduate. Please help me. That's all you need to say. You don't have to talk about autism, anything. However, if you want something like testing accommodations, like you want more time to take a test, or you want speech to text capabilities on your tests or whatever, the university might ask you for documentation that you have some kind of diagnosis that would hinder you from taking the test like the other people in your class. Other than that, you don't have to tell anybody. But if you want the accommodations, you might have to tell or disclose to somebody that you have a diagnosis and provide proof of that from a doctor. So just so you know. Okay. You also don't have to meet up with the person that you want to talk to in person. That might be kind of intimidating. I remember feeling like some of my professors were pretty intimidating and serious. So you can email them, you can do a phone call, you can do Zoom. I'm sure all of them have Zoom. And if they say like they're not the right person to talk to, or they don't know how to help you, or whatever, if they're not helpful, you can ask them, okay, thank you for your time. Who could I contact that you think would be able to help me? And I guarantee you they will have an idea. Pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that they will be able to put you in contact or give you the contact information of the person who you want to talk to. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is that just it's really easy to get down on ourselves, to get really frustrated with a class or with the college process in general. It can be really confusing and complicated, but keep an open mind. If you think, oh, the math teacher can't help me, they don't teach how I like, I don't understand how they teach, maybe they have a TA or, a grad student who works with them that can explain it to you in an easier way. Or maybe the teacher has had students who've had the exact same complaint, who said the same thing and got through their class because they did some little trick, and maybe the professor can tell you what that little trick was. Or maybe they can explain things to you in a different way. You just need to ask for that. So keep an open mind. Just ask. If it doesn't help, it doesn't help. But at least you asked and you tried your best to do what you can to get help. When you are meeting with this person, whether it's your advisor or your professor, whoever, it's totally okay to ask to record the session. You can record using the voice memo part on your phone, or if you're doing a Zoom meeting, you can ask to record the meeting or have them record it and send it to you. Totally fine. I used to record all of my anatomy lectures and play them back because otherwise I felt like I was missing things during the lecture. That's totally fine. You just have to ask. Just ask permission before you do that. Otherwise, can be a little creepy. People don't like being recorded without them knowing. You can also use AI tools. There's one called Otter, like the animal, Otter, that can help you record the sessions, and we'll just turn them all into notes so you can go back and read through those. And then if you are recording, or if you're asking to record and you feel like it's weird to ask, I guarantee you someone else has asked before. It's not weird. Like I said, I used to record all my lectures. No one is gonna think that you're like doing something weird. Just you're trying to get through the class. Everybody learns differently, and the teachers know that. That's like teaching 101, is that everybody learns differently. So they'll understand. Okay, so your advisor should have an opportunity to get to know you so that they can kind of help tailor your classes to you. If they know that you really work well in a smaller class, they can try and get you in a smaller class. That's one example of how they can help you. So as soon as you can, I would, just in general, even if you're not struggling with a class, I would make a meeting with your advisor and just talk to them about what you feel like would be helpful, what you're trying to get out of college, and see what they say. Then you're kind of on their radar too, because they probably have a lot of students that they're overseeing, and they won't know anything about you personally until you go up to them and meet them and explain. They are also really helpful because they can help tell you who else to talk to if you need help. They're kind of like the center, and they can help like branch off and lead you in the right direction of who to talk to next if they can't give you the specific help that you need. Let's see. It is really nice to build relationships with your professor before you even start struggling in the class. It's nice to just go to their office hours and meet them and say hi and ask a question about something you talked about in class, or see if you're on the right track with your assignment. Things like that are a really good way of helping you have success in the class, because if they already know you and then you come to them later and say, hey, I did really bad on this test, I think I need help on the next one so I can get a better grade, they are much more likely to help you the next time if they already know you and they know that you are serious and you're working hard and you really want to do well in the class. So, highly recommend getting to know your professors. They also might have some really good insight about what would be helpful for different students. They've probably seen a lot of different kinds of students over the years of teaching. So they can probably point you in the right direction if you're having a hard time. And then the Disability Services Office, it might be called something different at every university. Some of them are now called like accessibility and things like that. But they will be also a really good resource. They will protect your privacy. They have certain laws they have to follow about sharing your diagnosis with people. They won't share it with anyone who doesn't need to know. They can also suggest accommodations for you for your class setup, or talk to the professor about why you need certain accommodations. And they are also the ones that would provide those testing accommodations. So you might have to go to a special room or building to take your test separate from the rest of your class, and the Disability Services Office would set all of that up. Okay, so I hope some of that was helpful. I think it is really important to start practicing self-advocacy, especially when you're in college. You're kind of being an adult for the first time and getting more independent. So this is a skill you're going to need 100% for the rest of your life. Nobody gets through life without asking for help from somebody. And it is so empowering to know this is how I work best, and if I want to succeed at this, this is exactly what I have to do. Boom, boom, boom. And to know exactly what you need is really powerful, and it can make you really confident in whatever you're doing. So it's a great skill to have, and it's also going to build those executive functioning skills like we talked about, which is just going to make being an adult so much easier. Going forward, you'll be able to do this in the rest of your life too. If you're having a hard time with a friend or in a relationship or with a boss, you will be able to think about it, say exactly what would be helpful to you, and apply their strategies and see if it helps. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Comment below if you have questions about anything we said, and then check out our website, which is linked in the description, for more tips on college success. and like and subscribe for more videos. Bye everyone!